Alright, I'm back on First Snow yet again. I cannot remember for the life of me what happened last time. So, let's just get straight into it. A little voice. What's her name again? It was, Eileen's little sister, right? I can't remember her name. Rubbing sleep from my eyes as I slowly drag myself to the living room. A restrained yawn heralds my entrance. I thought I might have trouble getting to sleep in an unfamiliar place, but after everything that happened, I crashed almost immediately. Looks like Eileen's family are early risers. Noises from the kitchen, presumably being from her parents, while television blares away just ahead. The fire's cracking would make it quite a cozy scene if not for being intercepted with cartoon voices. Eve, that's right. Eve sits on the couch as I glance down, already bundled up in her winter outfit like a puffy ball of clothing. Eagerly watching the morning cartoons, her legs swing away as she happily munches on a bowl of brightly colored cereal. I can't help but smile, reminded of my own childhood. The show in this setting might be different, but the innocence is just the same. I forgot what this simple experience felt like. Look who it is. I take a seat beside the oversized hamster, Eve barely acknowledging my presence, before Eileen pops in from the kitchen and calls out to me. Looks like the coffee in her hand hasn't kicked in quite yet.
Allison.
That's it. Want any food? There's toast and cereal if you want any. I don't usually eat breakfast. Thanks, though. Me either! Dude, every time I try and eat... Jeez, okay. Let me try to say that again. Every time I try and eat breakfast too early, it just makes me nauseous. Shrugging in response, a tired Eileen heads back. Now Eve is staring at me. Despite settling down to watch Eve's cartoons with her, I can't help but eavesdrop as the conversation between Eileen and her mother can be heard from the other room. Uh-oh.
Any plans for the day?
Was going to study for school.
Real studying? Not just drawing?
Wow. My cartoon's loud explanation punctuate the short silence that forms Eileen's reply. Yeah. This is getting me anxious, bro.
Should have known. I've seen your marks from high school. I just want you to do well.
I just dropped my food. It's okay though, it hit my leg.
Maybe you can have Allison help. She seems to have a good head on her shoulders.
She's been helping me with my math already.
And here I was, worrying about who you might end up with for a girlfriend.
You know I can handle myself fine. Why worry?
Because I'm your mother. That's why.
Eileen doesn't exactly sound buoyed. I don't know that word by the comments. But I have to admit that the praise is nice to hear. It is a bit sad to hear her mother doesn't approve of her pursuing art, though. I wonder how tempered this exchange is, thanks to them keeping things together since I'm around. Morning, you two. Dude, I love Andrew.
Morning, you two.
Oh, he said it for me. Okay. I like this guy. He's great.
Going out, dear?
Just swinging into town to grab paper and milk. Want to come along?
Oh, he's going to get the milk, guys. We all know how this ends.
Eve, Allison, we're heading out for a moment.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
That's her voice? I can't remember if she spoke at all before. Now that I think about it, I don't think either of the parents spoke either.
We're going by your favorite shop, Eve.
Oh. They're like trying to get me and Eileen alone. Okay. I'm coming. She drops her almost finished bowl onto the coffee table so hastily that it nearly spills, skidding out the door, out to the door with a faint pitter-patter on the carpet. It's amazing how much energy kids have. Yeah, seriously. Eileen's parents give a short farewell as they escort Eve out, the girl racing out straight to the car to be a child again, filled with excitement for next car trip or television show. With her family out the door, Eileen watches them drive off before heading over. I shift over a little as she drops onto the couch, setting her coffee down with somewhat more care than her sister's cereal. Yeah. I give a loud stretch, but rather than being out of tiredness, it's more to calm myself as my heart starts beating in anticipation. We're finally alone, for real this time. Oh, great. You know, there's probably cameras in the house. They probably did that as like a test of some sort. As I look over to Eileen, it's obvious that she has the same idea as she turns off the television. Oh, great. Am I gonna have to edit after all? Alright. Want to pick up where we left off last night? No. I want to, but isn't it kind of early for this? She has to think that one through. It'll wake us up. Oh my god. At least don't show it, please. I'm not given a chance to respond as she presses her lips to mine. Not that I particularly wanted to argue the fact. This will likely be the last time we can share a moment like this for a good while. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. They didn't actually like make it too long or too in depth as they usually do. The snow makes a satisfying sound as I pat it down, each handful making the sphere better. Jeez, did I just say better? The sphere before me, that little bit larger. It's surprising how much physical work putting a snowman together is, but this is my first time making one this size. Standing out on the front lawn in the cold of early morning, I keep patiently patting away at my creation, slowly but surely building him up. I've been wanting to make a snowman for a while now, but between moving, studying, and hanging out with others, there just hasn't been much time. While I might have wanted to keep lazing around with Eileen, her family probably won't take much longer to get back, and she wanted to keep practicing her art, if nothing else. At least we're both a lot more awake now. Hey, bro, hey. It's rather nice to be out here, despite the cold, and given so much needed time to unwind. I think I'm living up to the expectations of Eileen's family, but living in another's home under the gaze of strangers is still stressful. Yeah, I feel that. Now that I'm alone out here, the odd squirrel flits about in the distance between the trees, and birds can be heard chirping away from the pines. There's something in my throat, and it's making it hard to talk. I wonder if Eileen, for her love of the outdoors, appreciates the sound of nature around here. Even if you're the only person around, you're never really alone. The air is nice here too, fresh with just a hint of pine wafting through the trees. From the trees, sorry. Jeez, I cannot read for the life of me, dude. It's only when a car door clangs shut behind me that I realize I've become too distracted with my surroundings. Her father makes idle mention of how little traffic they encountered as they passed into the house, with her mother guessing that the cars must be going in the direction of the city instead. Eve bounces her out of the car after them before stopping to spy out what I'm up to. Oh, a snowman. Yep, never had the time to make one back home. Want to build one too? Yeah. Needing no further prompting, she enthusiastically rushes past me and crouches down, pushing together snow with her tiny gloved hands. This is cute. We're bonding. The two of us start working away, with her snowman slowly starting to take form next to mine. There's almost a therapeutic feel to it all, relaxing outside as I see the large snowman coming together with each little step. Yeah, it's art. Even Eve seems to have quieted down, focused wholly on her work. Maybe this is a bit what sculpture, you mean sculpting? Or is it sculpture? I don't know. Grammar isn't my strong suit. It's satisfying to build something with my own hands and see an object form where there was nothing before. Looking over to Eve's snowman as I go, I'm impressed with how quickly she's managed to get something together. The slightly lopsided figure roughly equal to her height.
Wow. You must have lots of practice.
She continues working away at it, making a bit of a show of pounding the snow into shape with both hands, her entire body being put into it.
Eileen taught me how to make snowmen.
Oh, come on. Why isn't she making some with us then? Huh? Where's she at? Right, she's making art. I don't know. This is just making me anxious. I feel like something's gonna go wrong. Like any moment now. There's a bit of hesitation still, as if reminding herself that she shouldn't talk too much to a stranger suddenly hanging around her sister. Hopefully the fun of sharing the experience might help distract her.
It sounds like you and Eileen are really close.
I don't get to play with her much now that she's moved out. I miss her when she goes away, but Mom and Eileen always argue when she's home.
You could visit her back in Utah, maybe. I'm sure she'd like the company.
Dad says we will, but he's always got work. I want to see her paintings. She was always making them before she went away.
Yeah. I wouldn't exactly say the paintings she makes are for children, so, especially not the one she made of me, if you know what I mean. I guarantee you, she's somehow gonna see that.
Her paintings are really pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, but Mom said it's not a real job, so Eileen gets mad.
Yeah. This sounds depressing, dude.
What about Dad?
Dad said he thinks the same, but that they shouldn't fight so much over it.
Sounds like they don't get along very well.
Hey, can you make Eileen happier?
That's adorable, but no, I don't want to get involved. Like, dude, this is triggering every, fear in my body. What the heck?
I'll certainly do my best.
Satisfied with the best answer I could drum up, she goes back to her work on her snowman. Little hands collecting some more snow to pat on. I might say that, but I don't really know where to begin. Now that I think about it, she's done a lot for me, but when I think back to when we've been together, all I've been able to do around her is watch as she draws and paints. Ugh. Dude, this thing is still in my throat. I don't know what this is. I'm just getting myself worried over her. As she said, Eileen's perfectly capable of looking after herself. It's not like she needs me to be happy. Trying to stop myself from dwelling, I focus on patting the head up of my snowman some more to make it a bit less rectangular.
Do you paint too?
No.
Not really. I just draw cute things.
I draw too. Can I show you my drawings later?
Sure.
Sure, that'd be great.
I said sure the same way. As she beams a grin, I'm glad to finally be making headway with her. I never thought I'd be bonding through messing about in the snow. Have you shown Mom and Dad? They're always busy, so I can't always show them. My nanny's seen all of them, though. She's nice. A nanny, huh? I suppose you don't get to live this nicely without some sacrifices. I wonder if Eileen was raised by a nanny, too. I wonder if either of them ever really connected with their parents. As we work away on our creations, the door opens once more. Is it Eileen? Yeah. Looking around to see who it is, a familiar figure strides up. I do worry about her long boots in the slippery snow, but she doesn't seem bothered.
Huh?
What are you two doing? Both of us making snowmen? You don't say. Well, if you want some lunch instead of freezing out here making snowmen all day, come in from the cold already.
Aww.
But I want to make him better. Eileen studies her work for a moment before reaching over towards me. Too confused to respond, I just stand there as Eileen as Eileen's hands reach over and take my scarf in their grip. Unwinding it from my neck, she silently walks over to Eve's snowman and smartly wraps it around what's probably supposed to be the neck. That looks cool. There, he'll be happier now that he's less cold. He'll still be here when you get back, so go and eat something. Your show is starting, you know. Shocked that she might be missing even a minute, she completely drops any attention she had to the snow and stomps off as quickly as her restricting clothes allow. It's obvious Eileen and Eve wrapped around her... Eileen has Eve wrapped around her little finger. All I'm left to do is stare at Eileen pouting. You can grab your scarf back when Eve gets bored of making him. I was going to use it on my own snowman.
Seriously?
I swear, you're worse than her sometimes. It's funny. What's it been, 10, 20 minutes? Kid shows the full living room as I walk back in, each hand carefully balanced a bowl over cereal. Eve sits quietly, wholly focused on watching television. While still something of a work in progress, she seems more content to let me hang around now. Even if she doesn't engage much, maybe simply being friendly company is enough for her. Despite being the weekend, Eve's parents are out once again. This time, they're with Eileen to check how her car is going. Jeez. Why did I just want to, fit new in there somewhere? I don't even know, dude. Holy crap. Of all the ways Eileen's home is different to my own, it's the sheer quiet that most gets me. A few cars around, nor people nearby. There's only the odd boisterous bird outside to make noise. I could get used to a small town life like this. My spacing out is interrupted as the main door shuts with a loud thud. What was that? A familiar figure striding past.
Hey.
Welcome back. How's the car? It's fine. We're heading out once Dad's finished poking at it, by the way. Sure. Where are we going? You'll see. Finish your breakfast for now. I'll get your clothes out and pack everything. Isn't it a bit of a rush? I still have sleep in my eyes from waking up, and she's usually a zombie at this time of morning. Still standing around with bowls in my hands. I hold them out and look down, checking that I'm not going crazy, and did actually dress myself this morning. But I'm already dressed. Not for where we're going. Oh, great. Are we going up in the mountains or something? We are! Holy crap! No freaking way, dude. We're actually going hiking in the mountains? I gotta yawn again. Dude, why does that keep... How do I make that noise with my mouth? What the heck is that? The quiet morning is only punctuated by the crunch of snow underfoot, the occasional birds chirping, and the jangle of items from our backpacks. Apart from the woman plodding ahead before me and the footprints she leaves behind, all that I can see are pine trees, as much snow on their branches as greenery. Oh, and the puffs of condensation from our breaths. The scenery is nice, at least. I'd hardly expect to be spending today hiking through the forest when she dragged me out of the house. But so far, it's been a pleasant way to spend the day. Holy crap. I am so tired, dude. Tired as my legs may be. Eileen's pace doesn't falter. The hiking clothes she lent me hang off my frame, but I suppose that should have been expected given our height difference. What is that? Oh. Okay, never mind. They're comfortable, though, and most of all warm. Picked a good day for all this. Not exactly warm, but at least it's not bitterly cold. She says this with all the care that one might give when looking out the window. Jeez. I cannot read. Holy crap. She says this with all the care that one might give when looking out the window of a morning. Eileen really seems to be treating this as almost an everyday activity. The fact we need bear spray out here also weighs on my mind. Apparently, being black bear country, Eileen simply carries it in stride. And so we keep plodding ahead. On the plus side, the air is nice and fresh up here. The odd huge bird squawking as it flies above. Its calls echoing around the mountains make for a nice atmosphere. When we're alone like this, her family feels like the elephant in the room. There's so much I want to talk to her about, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say, since she's told me not to pry. Wanting to fill the air with something, I end up settling for the mildest of small talk. What am I gonna say? So you're experienced at this, huh? Okay, that's pretty normal.
Sure.
Yeah, I've been for a few hikes around here. Gotta blow my nose, hang on. Okay. Played outside a lot as a kid. Ended up adventuring more and more until I started hiking. With your father or...
No.
No. Alone. It's nice to have some time to myself. She knows what I'm trying to do. There's no point. Without a doubt, Eileen has to be the most solitary person I've ever met. Maybe this explains her abrasiveness. towards her parents, but it feels like feels a little unfair for her to take it out on them. Wow. Have I been taking so long that it just stopped? Like, was I not supposed to read that long? Coming out here's been a real help with my art too. But we're running out of breath. I have to stop and take a moment to collect myself. My natural pace is slower than Eileen's, making this hike all the more taxing. How is all of this related to art? You don't see it? The more life experiences you have, the more inspiration you have. Hard to create anything of worthwhile stuck in the four walls of my room. I mean, yeah, look at that view. You need to you need input to be able to create output. That's how culture works. Thinking on our words as I turn and start moving once more, Eileen's voice calls out,
Allison.
"Watch out, there's a stone there. I'm gonna trip." I look at my feet, quickly stepping around the dangerous trip hazard. If it weren't so big, I'd move it out of the way for future people coming up here. I took this route a lot as a kid. It's probably the easiest way to make it through this area, but you still have to keep an eye out. My breathing heavy, I come to the grim realization that Eileen must have been far more fit when she was young than I am now.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm a total city kid, I guess. You're plenty smart, but you can't just pick everything from books and internet, you know? I don't really know how to receive that half compliment, half criticism. Is this where Eileen picked up her independence, hiking in the woods alone? It's not like it's bad out here. The air and the... Holy crap. Yeah, air and the sounds and everything are nice. I just can't imagine doing this alone. And not just because I'm barely being pulled along as is. Ugh. Do you think maybe we can rest soon? No. What? You've got a whole hour left. Going by a frown on her face, Eileen is clearly disappointed with my request. We barely started. There's a resting place I want to reach, but we can't stop every few minutes if we want to get back by sundown. By sundown? You're doing this all day. Just how far does she plan to take us? Holy crap. She said, how long? Wait, it's been so early morning. For them, that's probably like 9 or 10. So, from 9 to 10, maybe 11 if it took that long to get here. And they're gonna hike till sundown? So that is literally all day. Holy crap. Oh my god. I could never do this. Ow. I would lose my mind. The sound of the river getting louder and louder as we walk before the two of us finally reach a clearing after a couple of hours of hiking or so. Despite barely being able to walk, I've kept myself from complaining anymore, not wanting Eileen to be disappointed in me again. With the two of us slowing to a stop as she looks around, it seems we'll be finally making a pit stop here. Same as it always was. Looks like nobody's messed with it. Is this a pit stop? It's just 4 stones. I'm about to ask what's so significant about this place before she bends down and sweeps some snow off a few large rocks, showing them to be purposefully set in a small circle. Here, have a seat. Setting her down on a particularly large rock, I quickly follow her lead and sit next to her. Looks like the most of the rocks here were carefully set in the ground to make a little campsite positioned next to the gently flowing river. My legs are happy I get to sit down. Looks like you've come here before. I ended up building this place up into a little base, but geez. I ended up building this place up into a little base camp over the years. Bears kept taking out anything I brought in or set up, but at least they leave rocks and ditches alone. Eileen makes herself comfortable. She pulls out a tin and thermos to pour herself some water, while I cup my hands and huff into them to warm up a little. With the two of, I thought those dark bars meant there was like a bear coming. With the two of us settling down to recover for a while, I listened to the sounds around us. It's so different to my own home, with the sounds of cars and crowds replaced by the river's slow trickling and various birds and other wildlife. Somehow it isn't a surprise that this kind of place Eileen would like. As she sits out here thinking to herself, she looks like part of the scenery, just as she did in her quiet art room, at least until Capricia and I made it decidedly less quiet. Then there's me in my oversized coat and labored breaths. It's peaceful. Yeah. I thought my apartment was quiet, but it's nothing like this.
Huh?
Your place wasn't quiet at all when I was there. Constant cars, construction, and people walking by. I'm not like you. I've only ever lived in the big city. I was worried about being so far from home, but I think I like it here. Playing with Eve has been fun, too. Your family has been really nice to me as well. Uh-oh. Eileen's face sours, making me immediately regret adding that last little addendum or more to the point, that lecturing tone. I want to understand her, but she only gives me small pieces to work with. Not enough to puzzle things together. She'll probably tell you eventually. There's no reason to rush it. I knew my sudden intrusion into her home would be at least a little awkward, but I've begun to realize Eileen's resistance to bringing me here was about more than that.
Eileen.
Just... Oh, great. Don't get into a fight in the middle of the woods. Mountains, actually. Please. She's gonna leave you here and you're gonna be screwed because you're in the middle. You're right between going back and going forward, which is kind of bad. So I've started speaking before even gathering my thoughts. This isn't a great start. Yeah. Just what is it that makes you want to be away from them so much? To move to a different state? I mean, is it just about your choice of career, or... Yeah. This is not a good idea. In the middle of the mountains. Okay. I knew something bad was going to happen eventually. It always does. That's giving me anxiety. Alright, can we not bring all that up? I came here exactly to get away from my parents being on my case. And then there was silence. Yeah. That explains her rush in the morning to organize our hiking trip out here. Especially if she was stuck with her parents while they gave her car a new spin around town. So what am I here for? Something up? I thought you brought me out here because you wanted to share it with me. I was really excited to see the kinds of things you did growing up. Her face tells me that she hadn't even considered that reason. That's what I thought she was here for, too. Well, I thought it was a little bit of both, but that's awkward. I feel a little stupid for attaching so much feeling to this now. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a good look if I left you back at the house while I wasted time out here. Hang on. I gotta clean this real quick. It's sticky for some reason. I have no idea why. No weird reasons at all. What is this stuff? Is it honey? Is it syrup? Why is there syrup up here? I ate pancakes like months ago. What the heck is this? Oh, whatever. Okay. Well, I mean, I already read that, didn't I? So this was just stress relief for her. Even now she's not looking at me. Probably more busy thinking things over with regards to her family. I opened my mouth to try and ask her about it, but I can't work out what to say. Don't take it too personally, okay? It's probably just like a little bit of both, you know, like, or she just wanted you to, I don't know. I can't really think of a reason. Just, I would not get upset by this at all. I'm just here because she feels obligated to invite me. I guess I should have realized she doesn't want me here. She didn't want me here at her home at all. Yeah, don't think that deep, dude. This is getting depressing. It's... I'm the invader in her space. It's no wonder she treated me like a burden this entire walk. If I was going to get in her way, she should have just said so. Dude, I don't even know what to say. This is just making me really anxious. In the end, the only reason I even know anything about her disagreement with her parents is because Eve told me. Eileen doesn't want me to know. For now, I'll just have to be content as a spectator, looking into her life without getting too involved. What was that? What time is it? Oh, okay. Well, what was I gonna say? Crap. I can't remember. I quickly looked to her, but rather than acting what? She's pointing to my left side with her gaze focused. An insect seems to be lazily crawling around on top of my left hand. The thing about a fingernail in length and jet black. I don't recognize it, but it looks harmless enough. To be honest, I couldn't care less about the little beetle right now. You're not worried? Should I be? Well, I mean, most people don't like bugs crawling on them too much. I just shrug, leaning down to press the side of my hand to cold ground while gently persuading the bug to get off my other hand. After a bit of effort, the little fellow gets off my glove and onto the soil, scampering off a little faster for the experience. It won't hurt me. What, just another of your animal friends? I'm not exactly in the mood for being teased. Yeah. Oh god, this is giving me too much anxiety. It's the kind of thing you can learn in books or on the internet. Eileen laughs it off, but I'm sure she can tell I'm being snippy. Yeah. Oh god. With that, she stands up, putting her thermos and cup back into her backpack before dusting herself off. Ready to keep going then? We've still got the afternoon ahead of us. Oh god, you have this much time left and you're already pissed off at each other.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I try to put as much enthusiasm into it as I can muster, but she gets the distinct feeling that I'm just going along for a ride now. And so she pushes forward without looking back at me. This is always where I am with her. Whether I'm watching Eileen paint or watching her hike, I'm always far behind her eyes with... Wait, far behind her with eyes on her back. Then, I don't know, just like walk ahead of her. She'll notice you then. She physically cannot. Just go above and beyond, basically. Oh, is that the end of the chapter? You're gonna end on that bad note? Really? Ah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna end it here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.